I feel like the reason white people right now are referring to this period of time in America as being like 1930s Germany or like World War II or schmatzy and all of that stuff is because honestly, we weren't taught about anything else more in depth than World War II. We got to be the heroes in World War II. That's why we got to read Anne Frank's diary. That's why we know, quote unquote, so much about the leading up to World War II. Everything else was glossed over in your public school education. The civil rights movement, like we love MLK, but we never learned about the Tulsa massacre, right? We never learned about what led up, like how bad things were leading up to the Civil War. Like we just like heard about the Underground Railroad and it was great. And, like the women's right to vote movement, like, yeah, it was like finally they did some marches and then they got their right to vote. We never actually read about all the people in our own system who are doing horrible things to fellow people. And right now, we've all been able to live in this system, people that look like me specifically, uh, with that bubble privilege, especially if you've lived in a community where you have zero proximity to anybody from any other marginalized group at all, which there are plenty of just white community. I'm living in just a plain white community right now. It's the most white bread place ever. And coming from a diverse city like New York City and having worked on 6 continents, this is crazy to me. But I realize that the people's experience and education is the reason why they can only refer to this as being 1930s Germany. And in saying that, we all need, if you look like me, we need to get educated because ICE showing up in Minneapolis isn't because of immigration or race. It is because white people dared to disobey. And if you think that you're protected because you live in a white community or, you make 6 figures or even 7 figures, you're not, because you're not the right type of white. They are coming for you if you don't comply. The term white was made up and started being used regularly after the Bacon's Rebellion in the 1700s by white wealthy colonialists to get control of white poor farmers who were rebelling and setting things on fire. They were rebelling and setting things on fire because they were pissed off that they had to keep fighting natives for more land to farm and they were barely making any money. And the white wealthy colonialists were like, oh man, no, we shouldn't be fighting. Like, we're both white. Like, more farming and my success is your success. Sounds familiar hundreds of years later, right? That trickle down economy or like, buy my meme coin. When at the end of the day, they have used us to be obedient and to provide cheap labor. And the moment you stop being obedient and providing cheap labor, the moment you stand up to them is the moment that you are no longer white to